200 views.
Yeah, I could double check, dude. I just looked at it a little bit ago. Yesterday we had over 600 people. That we have 550 today. He's got 194 on the NBA piece.
Oh man, NBA
It's
coming up. NBA coming up this past week is
yeah.
like Twitter's full force now. I mean, I'm seeing people that I hadn't seen in like 6 months, and everybody's all
I
jazzed
know.
up for it. It's the most random game and the most. I wish the word variable had like an adjective, like the most variable-ish game, because it's just like the Pacers, for instance, were up by 14 today as 5.5 point dogs and ended up losing by 7. Like, you just can't be content in NBA. Can't stand it. So
Oh, just wait. We have 2 weeks, and you get college basketball, and then Twitter will explode.
I'm not even gonna. I will mute 75% of my followers. I really just don't want to see all the first half line, full game line, people taking Canisius on November 15th when the opening game was coming up. Hey, I don't know a single person on Canisius, but they're laying 5 into Incarnate Word, and I'm gonna take them on the first half and the full game. And that's how I plan on doing my spreadsheets for the year. Just taking.
Just mute missed free throws. You'll miss almost half of the college basketball tweets.
Oh, I cannot wait for bad beats in college basketball. I will be seldom playing college basketball, and I will just sit back, put in some Orville Redenbachers, and just chomp away all night. Just root against people.
Alex will be grave digging tweets every night of people talking shit about college basketball.
Yeah, I'm just kidding about. Obviously don't want to see anybody lose, but I think when you talk about bad beats, basketball is the worst, and it just happens at the most unbelievable times that when you catch it and Twitter explodes at the same. It's so much more different than a backdoor touchdown. It's just everybody like, I cannot believe he shot that. Like, how the hell did he get? It's just a game of possessions with that many possessions. You're just never safe, and I can't take it. Like, too many ulcers. Ulcers forming right now, and I'm not even going to be playing it a lot this year. So that's my take on college basketball. Yep.
That's a hell of an intro to Talkin' Chalk. Hell of an intro.
That's a good one. This is week 9 already. We have the month of November left, and then we'll get into bowl games, and that'll be fun. That'll be a great slate. Thinking about all the teams now that are just running and chucking, you'll start seeing totals, in the mid to lower 80s and stuff like that. So that'll be a good one. I'm rooting for like Bowling Green and Baylor to play, or I mean, that total is like 113.5. So yeah, week 9, guys. We are heading into November right now. As always, like I say, playoff implications are getting tighter. Heisman races are narrowing down. Looks like it's going to be Fournette and Boykin for right now. Obviously, Seth Russell from Baylor will be out for the year, so we'll have to keep a close eye on the Bears and Art Briles and see what happens there. But welcoming back to Sports Degens, my main man, Rome. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Yo, so your boy's not fresh, but I'm coming off of a Vegas weekend. I didn't quite lose the shirt. Let's just say I lost a couple pair of shoes and maybe my socks when I was in the club doing it VIP. But no, had a fun weekend. I was out at SLS, at Foxtail. I was at One Oak. Just getting into trouble, obviously, but I survived. I'm back. So let's focus on the next week coming up here.
Did you do a beer bong with RJ Bell?
It's funny because, and again, Kelly in Vegas, if you're listening, I'm sure you're not, but if whatever chance you are, a couple of years ago, I was in contact with Kelly and we were talking. And I was like, oh yeah, next time in Vegas I'll hit you up, and she was like, yeah, for sure. I work at Hyde. It'd be cool to meet you, whatever, blah blah blah. And when I was there in Vegas over the weekend, Doc from ESI, who's also writes for the Sports Degens, he had posted a thing in our DM where like some guy was talking, hey, like, Kelly, let's meet up in Vegas next time I'm out there, and actually got denied. Actually got shot down.
That's good shit.
Thought it was impossible because I didn't think that was possible to get shot down.
I mean, You put it like that's like a good historical record to put in your book. Like, yeah, I got denied. Like, not really worried about it, but still kind of a cool. Like the Boston Tea Party. That shit didn't even mean anything, but it's like kind of cool because it's in the history books. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I mean,
That didn't serve a goddamn purpose. Like, we're just gonna toss your tea overboard. Why don't you just go swimming and go get it? They're in crates. Not a big deal. More of a statement than anything. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I ride that Rome. I really do, man. Thank you for the energy early. Needed it. Love it. Got it. And without neglecting you too much, we also have Brian from the Sports Gens. Hey, Brian.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing well on a Wednesday night, getting ready for Week 9 college football.
Oh yeah, you're damn right. I'm Alex Kloje. I'm the host. Pablo Sanchez is my avatar. You want to talk to me, you got to talk to him first. In Spanish, hola, que manos, pero, hey, yo, que esas viatinas, pepas fritas. All I said out of there was I like French fries, and that's the only sentence I know after 5 years of taking Spanish. So
Solid.
that's the melting pot.
Muy bien.
Thanks, Brian. So
No
let's get into this, guys. We had Colin Wilson on from CCH Picks last week. He gave out some good info, and we got into some good stuff last weekend. Rome. Let's start off with you because we were talking about this earlier today. We had a good week last week. Take us through the recap with your plays of the day, please.
Yeah, of course. So a little bit of an improvement back on the positive side of the Mendoza line, speaking of Spanish. But yeah, we went 2-1. We enjoyed a really, really great game and a great victory with a Tennessee plus 15.5 when they were playing Bama. Talk about a great game, going back and forth. I was in the sports book. People were going crazy. You know, Roll Tide was obviously in the house. Volunteers fans were in the house, or they were in the house. Not quite as much, but it was a hell of a game. A lot of fun to watch. It was close. Obviously the 15.5 covered, so happy we're on the right side of that one. We were on the wrong side of Cal. That was I think it was a Thursday game, and I should have listened to you, Alex. You were very vehemently disagreeing with me on the line and on the analysis, or not like crazy or anything, but you just thought that the line was set right, and you thought that that there wasn't really any value there, and you're absolutely right. So that's one that we're gonna move on from and try to learn from, and we might be staying away from Cal here because this is another tough matchup for them this coming week against USC. But anyways, moving on, and then we also had, it was the over in Oklahoma and Texas Tech, and that was an easy cover as well. I believe it was, the number changed a little bit, was in the low 70s. I think it might have ended at 73, 74. But I was out there in Vegas for that one too. That was one of the few bets that I actually won. Dude, I honestly, when I go out to Vegas, I usually do pretty well, like betting sports, and I'll usually lose my shirt, on the tables, whether it's blackjack or roulette or whatever I'm playing, throwing craps. But this trip was the complete opposite. I went literally 2 for 10 or 2 for 12 or something, betting games, which is for me that's just god awful. But then I made $600 playing poker, and then I made I don't know, $200 or $300, playing the other table games, but then I spent it in the club and everything. Anyways, so it's kind of a strange weekend for me personally, betting wise, but we'll take it, sports gens and POD wise.
Crazy, good stuff, man. I can only imagine how it is being on this. I mean, I've never been to Vegas. I haven't made my way out there yet. It's honestly, I don't know if it's a scene for me, if that makes any sense. I mean, I know it's a gambler's refuge to go to, obviously. And I feel like if you're a sports gambler, whether you're a poker player or you gamble on sports or whatever you do out there, that you got to make Vegas a one-time thing at least. But I just feel like I wouldn't, not that I wouldn't feel in place, but I just don't think I could handle all the people, saying what they like and why they like this. Because I like to keep my own opinion. I only like listening to people who are, and it sounds so terrible to say, but I really just like to focus on people that actually know about the game and know about the market. And that's why I have such a low follower base, on Twitter. I don't want to have my timeline crammed up with people who are, just throwing stuff out there, and so that even goes back to and once again, I hate saying it because I don't want to sound like I'm boasting, but even when some of my friends come and talk to me about games, I like this team, it's do you know anything? Like, do you know what's going on? Like, this team just fucking fired their head coach, you idiot, you know? Like,
Alex, don't lie. You just turned 21 like 6 months ago. It's okay. You don't have to lie to kick it.
close enough, man. I'm like, you dumbass, do you not know this team's 0-7 against the spread on a Friday? Go fucking kick some rocks, man. You know? Don't come at me with your with your angles, with your trends, man. But yeah,
you should check it out, man. You love it, honestly.
Yeah, I can only imagine how it is out there with all the action and stuff like that. The Devil's Playground. So, absolutely good stuff last week, Rome. And Brian, how about you, man?
Yeah, for the plays of the day, they only went 1 and 2, unfortunately. Clemson, Miami under 56 didn't hit because Miami won 58-0, or not Miami, Clemson won 58-0. So that's a great way to lose an under. Washington State did what I thought they would do, and they went into Arizona, got shit done. The final score doesn't indicate, I think, how well Washington State played. It was 45-42, but it was really never in doubt as Falk just kept lighting up the scoreboard like he's done. Like I read today, he's thrown 17 touchdowns his last 3 games. He threw 5 last week. The guy is a freak, over 500 yards again. That Mike Leach offense is clicking. Unfortunately, they're running into a Stanford Cardinal defense this week. But late Saturday night game in Washington, you never know. But and then the other game was Kentucky. God, I'm done with Kentucky. I've rid their bandwagon. I thought it was a great spot for them getting 11.5 against Mississippi State. They played them tight till the half, and then the doors just came off, and Ashley Judd must have blown someone in the bathroom, and they forgot to come out and play. I don't know. It was horrific. The saving grace was my underdog of the week. The Duke Blue Bulls in 4 overtimes broke Beamer curse, and I think Krzyzewski left his present on Beamer's pillow this time, and so I finished the week 2.
Right on her fucking stomach, man. Oh, man. He did it. He busted it. And he goes, Kyle Singler.
JJ Redick.
4-3. Oh man.
I think Wojo hit the mattress for him.
Oh man, we just have too many. We started a whole new trend now with like, dude, I'm not gonna be able to look Coach Krzyzewski in the face without thinking about him raw dogging Beamer's wife, dude. Oh man. Oh.
Okay, how'd you do, Alex?
Funny you ask, man. Funny you ask. Well, like everybody says, you know, I thought I was on the right side of the game, but the game didn't end up winning. Obviously, I wasn't on the right side in 2 of the games, but I thought that I could have easily won the 2 games that I lost. And the first one was Auburn's team total under, and you're talking about a team that didn't score in the first 29 minutes of the game. Ended up scoring a touchdown late with 1 minute to go in the second. They're playing at Arkansas. The team total under was 23.5. They had 7 points going into halftime. Scored right out of the gate in the second half, and by that time I knew it was over. And then Arkansas is up 24-21, and they have Auburn pinned back in their own 10-yard line with 1 minute and 7 seconds left, and sure enough, Auburn goes right down the field and ties it up 24-24. So obviously that was a loser. And then Indiana plus 16.5, down 2 going into the fourth. Could have spotted Michigan State 2 touchdowns in 1, instead they gave up 28 and lost that one. Yeah, that was rough. That was just one of those weeks where nothing seems to go right. But then we locked up USC's team total over 31, which was easy. Juju Smith-Schuster, my guy, he's listening in. Guy Smith-Schuster or no?
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster, yeah.
Did you guys see the stiff arm that he had?
Oh, yes, dude. Just killed the dude, man. Embarrassed his whole family.
Called the guy over. He called the guy over, and he tossed him. Oh, man. I saw that. I didn't see that till like Monday, and I already have a jerk like pre-ordered for whenever he gets drafted. Like, that's the first one I'm buying is a Smith-Schuster jerk. And then the underdog of the week hit with Maryland plus 6.5. So not a bad week. 2-2, can't complain. Podcast plays moved to 19-9. So picking good spots. And to think about it, guys, like doing a podcast on Wednesday night, not getting even the full. Yeah, I mean, not even getting the full line movements. Duke Miami line isn't even out. There's still injuries that still need to crop up. players that are listed as questionable. So doing a pretty good job, at the time that we have. But let's get into week 9. This is what we get excited for. So let's get right into it with our plays of the day. Rome, start them off.
Okay, guys. Yeah. So I'll get it started. So first game I'm looking at for this weekend, it's going to be the Oklahoma State Texas Tech game. I'm looking at the total, the points. I'm going to be looking at the over. Forgive me one sec here because I just got disorganized here. I'm trying to find the game up real quick here so I can give you guys some actual numbers. And we have. No, sorry, shit. Alex, I'm completely blowing it. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So we got OK State's favored by 3. Over/under is set high as heck at 79 points is what I'm seeing right now. I think this is going to be another shootout. It's in Lubbock. Oklahoma State's undefeated. I just don't see either team really playing too much defense. I think Mike Gundy's coming off a heck of a win last week too. He looked really confident, and I think the over/under number set as high as it is kind of speaks for itself. Neither team is favored by too much. It's basically a field goal game. I think there's going to be some points. I think that we're going to see. We could easily see a game that's like, in the 50s, like mid 50s to high 40s. I'm not really sure if it's going to be Okie State, if it's going to be Texas Tech, but I do think there's going to be a ton of scoring. So that's going to be my first play for this weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I like playing those high total games, and they always catch my eye. But at the same time, because any game that's 75 or higher, I mean, there's no doubt that there should be, how many possessions per team. I mean, unless you get screwed by red zone turnovers or just like a real slow start or an injury, I mean, you really can't cap that game to go under. At least I find it rather hard capping games that are, say, any Baylor game, any Texas Tech game, any Bowling Green game. Like those games, I find it so hard to cap because I just feel like all of them should go over. I feel like even if it was from, between 72, if it was 72.5 or 82.5, I wouldn't mind taking the over because obviously, there should be 100 points scored in those games. It's just so hard for me to try to find a reason to like the under. You know what I'm saying? Because there should be a ton of points scored. But sounds good, man. So you're going to be riding the Texas Tech over again this week, huh?
Yes, sir. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's true.
Guns up, Rome. Guns up.
Guns up. Let's go.
And Frank did say that once. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brad.
Okay, my first play of the week will be an early 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 for the East Coast bias. Kickoff on Saturday morning. Ole Miss Rebels at Auburn Tigers. Give me the under 57.5. Both these teams, especially Ole Miss, plays great defense. I know they're having some injury issues, but the way Kelly's playing by himself, he'll give 3 or 4 turnovers, it seems, every week. Ole Miss won 23-3 last week, and they turned it over 4 times. So obviously it could have been more. Like you said earlier, Auburn should have been a 24-21 final. Should have been an easy under. If it wasn't for 4 overtimes. I was looking back. Out of the last 6 games, Auburn's games have been 56 points or less. Ole Miss is 5 out of those 6, and Ole Miss 4 out of 5 the same. Both these teams are just, you want to look at trends, which some people do. It's just an under machine on both sides of the board. Auburn's running a 4-0-1 last 5 at home streak on the under. I see getting the 3 turnovers easy, and I wanted to take Auburn plus 7.5, but I think Ole Miss's defense is that good right now that I'd rather stick with the under. Auburn team total under might be another good look this week, Alex, in my opinion. But my first play of the day will be the Auburn Ole Miss under 57.5.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a good matchup for Auburn's offense, and I think it was the same exact thing last week versus Arkansas. I think in the first 5 drives, Auburn only had 1 total yard, and the only first down they had was on a penalty. So if you can get Auburn matched up with a team that doesn't have a big front 7 and a team likes to run again, you saw the success that they had in Kentucky, a team that I don't think impressed me that much. on the front four, and I just think that Auburn struggled so much this season without having Duke Williams, not having Jeremy Johnson in. Sean White's been playing pretty damn well when he has to, but if that offense doesn't get started right away, then it's going to be a long day against the Landshark defense. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. I really am. That was one of those games that I was looking at as well. So we have the Texas Tech Oklahoma State over. We have the Auburn Ole Miss under 57.5. And my first play of the day is going to be the Georgia Tech Virginia over 53.5. Now, this is one game that really stuck out to me. Like I've said in prior weeks, I like looking for these totals that might be too high, and then waiting for them to come down, and then taking them at a reasonable number. And when I saw it at 57, I realized that there's no way this total is going to go up. This will be one of Georgia Tech's highest numbers of the season, and I think when you look at Virginia, not really having much to play for, open up the playbook a little bit more. They've gone over the last 4 games at home, so obviously playing a little more comfortable inside their own confines. And then obviously Georgia Tech's offense can give anybody fits. But the thing that I like here is after a big win with Georgia Tech last week, maybe a mental lapse on defense sometimes. So I'm going to look for some points in this game, and I'm going to take the Georgia Tech Virginia over 53.5 for my first play of the day. Kind of an under-the-radar total. Nothing really trend-wise, but it's just something that's really sticking out to me for some reason. A total that I don't think that should be that high, but I think it is for a reason. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to take the over 54.
Get it.
Trying to.
All right, guys. So this next one, this is going to be this is feast or famine right here. This is your guy Rome's. Don't worry, it does not involve the University of North Carolina. Don't worry, it does not involve the University of Illinois.
Oh shit!
I kind of wish it did. But this is feast or famine. This is your boy Rome's straight up just crazy underdog. Play of the weekend. I'm looking at honestly one of the best teams playing in the country right now. The Clemson Tigers are coming into NC State. Clemson's favored by 10. I am going to sit here and tell you that I like, and I'm going to take the NC State Wolfpack plus 10 at home. Clemson coming in off of a huge win. They absolutely just destroyed the Hurricanes. They are responsible for Al Golden getting fired, straight up. But you know what? NC State is 5-2. They've been playing pretty well in that division. This is going to be the first, I think ACC opponent where Clemson is going to, they might have a little bit of a struggle, on the road. It's a big game. NC State's going to be, it's a 12:30 game Pacific, so it's not like a night game or anything like that. But they're going to be hyped. They're going to want to, they're going to want to show up Clemson. They're going to want to fight hard. So I'm crazy. I'm going to take the plus 10. I think the over in this game is not necessarily a bad play either. I think there's going to be some points scored as well. And the over number is not bad either. It's 51.5, which, Clemson minus 10, 51.5. That would indicate, Clemson's going to just absolutely destroy him. Another potential shutout. But you know what? I don't think so. Not so fast. Not so fast as Corso would say.
Mm-hmm. It seems like every year NC State gives one opponent a lot of trouble, and it's usually at home. And I could be completely wrong, but I think when you look at this game, I think you have to look at Jacoby Brissett for North Carolina State, the quarterback. He'll be the first real quarterback that Clemson's seen that can kind of improvise and make plays with his feet and really extend plays. I'm a firm believer in Clemson's defense and Clemson's team as a whole. I don't even think they've necessarily put together a complete game. They just thrashed Miami. Miami pretty much handed that game to them. I think when you look back at the first quarter when Kaya had thrown an interception in the red zone, it just dismantled from there. Instead of being 7-7, it was 21-0, and then sure enough, 58-0, Al Golden gets fired. This will be a huge test for Clemson. I don't think last week was as big as a trap spot as people think, because Miami was just coming off of a loss, playing at home in front of a crowd that maybe had 3,000 people in it. But this is a team that I think can give Clemson fits on offense. With Brissett, he's got a lot of wide receivers that can make some plays. But it all comes down to defense. If they can get a turnover or two, then I think it'll be a close game. But I'm not a big fan of playing against or playing on Clemson. So, food for the next week. That all relies on you, Rome. So don't let us down.
Hey, wish me good luck, brother.
Love it. That was me subtly wishing you luck. Perfect. Cool. So you got the Oklahoma State, Texas Tech over. You have North Carolina State plus 10. Brian, after you dabbled up the Auburn under, what's number 2?
Okay, like we talked earlier before we started the pod, Alex, things just haven't been going the way things have appeared on paper, and I told you it's about time that I might make some adjustments. So this might really come back to haunt me big time, but I feel like this is the better team, and it's a horrible atmosphere. Like, I'm totally going to give you every reason not to play this game probably, but this is like a Rome special right here.
Yeah.
This game is tomorrow night. It's late night, Pac-12, in a hostile environment in Arizona State.
Oh.
I am quacking all over the Sun Devils. Oregon plus 2.5. I'm praying for a plus 3. I don't see it happening. I actually think it's going to go down even more, so I'd almost play it now if you're going to play it. I don't think you're ever going to need the points. I think Oregon goes into town, leaves with a win. They've had such a ridiculous season. I was looking at their schedule today. They struggled at home against Eastern Washington. They go to Michigan State, almost win. Michigan State, they're undefeated, but they've been in so many close games. Take that with what you wish. The quarterback issues have been so up and down. But you look at Oregon in the Pac-12 so far this year, they've lost their 2 games at home, and they've, for the most part, dominated on the road. They only beat Washington by 6, but they've been in control on the road. It's a very odd system, especially with an Austin Stadium crowd and an Oregon team. You go back to Oregon in the Pac-12, they've just been running roughshod. They're 10-2 in their last 12 against the spread in the conference. They've dominated on the road in the I know a lot of that's Mariota stats, and take it all with a grain of salt. Like I'm telling you, I'm giving you every reason not to take Oregon, but there's something telling me, like we said earlier, Alex, eventually shit's just gonna go weird. The big thing to me is the Ducks are in Arizona State's head. They're 6-1 the last 7 against them, 4-1 at Arizona State, and the favorite has dominated the series, which doesn't fare well again for Oregon. But my second play of the day, do it with your own cause, Oregon plus 2.5.
Nice, dude. It's a team that's really just kind of going under the radar about as much as you could ask because they lose to Utah, they get beat by Washington State. I mean, nobody in their right mind is talking about Oregon right now. So with that comes value, and I think catching points versus a team that has really just been a seesaw battle with Arizona State. You don't know what you're going to get from. You don't know what you're going to get from Berkovici. The defense is questionable. I mean, if Oregon can just stretch them and run their offense, then I don't see how they don't put up points on Thursday night.
That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing. If Oregon can get into the mid to high 30s, I think you're fine. Because Arizona State, I had such high hopes for them coming into this season, and they've just been underachieving to the max to me. I'm looking at a thing right now. They're 116th in the nation in points scored. That offense coming into the season looked like it'd be a dynamo. Like it'd be a normal Pac-12, spread them out, solid offense. They're 66th in the nation in points per, or no, that's points per game, passing yards. They're running the ball 154th. If Oregon can just put a little bit of defense on the floor, I don't see how they don't win by almost double digits. But I know that's probably asking for too much because Vegas isn't stupid. But Oregon is an underachieving team that they're so close to just breaking out.
Well, and then here's the other thing too, Brian. If this game was, coming in with 2 teams that were undefeated, and playoff implications were on the line, then I think the right play would be Arizona State at home. But these are 2 teams that just really are hoping to get into the postseason. And while it may not mean a lot for Oregon, I think when you look at playing more loose and just running the offense, then you have to give the edge to Oregon in their speed. I mean, I know the injuries have been an issue, but at the same time, it's so hard to neglect a team that can just score, in under a minute on any drive. So if you're with it, I'm with it, man.
Let's give them hell.
Get 'em.
All right, play number 2. I'm going back to the well. a well that I haven't even been to this season, if that makes any sense. How about let's look at Duke first half. A perfect
Love it.
7-0 this season. A perfect 7-0 this season. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not trying to get into public ties. I'm not the type of person that's going to be saying, I want you to take Duke because Miami just fired its head coach. They don't have a quarterback. I mean, this game literally sets up for you to take Duke and to pretty much just tell the bank teller to give you your money right there on the spot. It almost seems too easy.
Yep.
But at the same time, Duke's 6-1 right now. The only loss was to Northwestern, a game in which they pretty much handed that game over to them at home. They were up. They didn't score in the second half. It's a team that is creeping up in the polls, number 18. You look at the ACC, all of these teams are losing. Who knows what's in store for Duke? I just think a night game for Miami with their head coach. I don't think the head coach, Al Golden, being fired is necessarily a bad thing for the team. I think they're going to be better off without him, but at the same time, you don't have a quarterback. And I just think, even with all the talent on Miami, I think Miami's a lot more talented than Duke. I just think Duke at home at night, they've been getting out to just fast starts. They've been holding opponents to, I don't know what it is per game, but they've just been coming out guns blazing, and I don't see how it could be any different this week versus a battered Miami team and a Duke team that's really just has a lot to play for right now. 6-1, number 18 in the polls. Give me Duke first half, 7-0 this season, 9-0 dating back to last season, 9-1 on the money line from weeks 5 to 8 in the last 3 seasons. Duke first half, play number 2.
Yeah, I love it. You guys know I'm on Duke a lot. I'm on the Duke bandwagon. I love backing Duke. If this line's, I'd say, under a touchdown, it's worth looking at for a full game, even though they seem to, like you said, they're not as strong in the second half. The coaching change at Miami is not the part I'm worried about the team, quote-unquote, showing up for, that jargon. I'm more about Brad Kaya is not playing, and that is a gigantic loss for a Miami offense that is going to face a Duke defense that's very, very good and a very disciplined Duke team. And I think Miami's have trouble scoring. If Duke can put a couple early touchdowns on the board just last week against Clemson, Miami might just fall apart again. I think it's a great play, and the full game is worth a look as well.
Well, here's the thing, Brian. I know Duke hasn't necessarily played like a high-power offense. Obviously, Georgia Tech was the only team that really is an offensive juggernaut. I mean, you look at Virginia Tech, Boston College, Army, Tulane. They haven't really – Northwestern. It's not a team that runs a fast tempo, but at the same time, I don't think you're going to see anything too explosive from Miami, especially without – I mean, if Miami still had Brad Kaya and the Golden situation had never occurred, and Miami keeps it somewhat close versus Clemson, then I might be not even looking at this game. But like I said, I don't think the head coaching is something that's going to be a negative impact to this team. I just think when you have a new quarterback coming in on the road at night and with minimal help on the offense in terms of Yerby and a questionable wide receiving corps, I just like Duke's defense to come out and just start swarming. I mean, I wouldn't call Duke-Miami a rivalry, but it's a series that's been played extremely tight-knit the past few seasons, and Duke's got the better of Miami the past few years, in the recent handful of years. So I think if you're David Cluckliffe, you got Miami right where you want them, and it's just time to keep putting the foot on the gas pedal and keep going. So Duke first half will be. I'm expecting the number. You know what? I'm expecting a spread. I don't know if it sounds too far-fetched, but I'm expecting 7.5, 8, 9-ish, if that makes sense.
I wouldn't be surprised to see 10.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to say right now, I think the first half spread would be somewhere around 4.5.
Yeah, I think that's a great bet.
That's me. That's my second one then.
Sweet.
Nice. And now, I love it. I was sitting in a sports book watching that. It was Virginia Tech, right? That they played last weekend. Duke did.
Yeah, 4-2. Yeah, 4 overtime game against Tech.
That game was absolutely nuts. I saw so many people on Twitter that were loving VTech. Take VTech -3.5. Take VTech -2.5.
You should have told them to watch our pod, and they would have known better.
Dude, I was just waiting for sports degens for Talkin Chalk, or as My boy Kev Delight likes to call it Talkin cock. This fucking guy. Shout out to my fucking dude Kev. But no, I was sitting in the sports book, dude, Brian. I'm not even kidding you. This game was back and forth, back and forth. Great ending of the game. 4 overtimes, like you just said. I mean, Duke is resilient defensively. They're stout. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Honestly, it was a great game. Really fun to watch. Anyways, Alex, I was just reminiscing about how I was watching the end of that Duke Vautech game. Krzyzewski versus Beamer, raw dogging, all that stuff was going through my mind. I was all messed up. The game was exciting. Anyways, moving on. So guys, guess what? Oops, I did it again. I mean, shit, call me Britney Spears if you want to. Call me crazy. Just call me.
Call me, baby.
So I swear that I wasn't going to touch Cal or UNC or Illinois, but I'm back. This is what I do. This is the life of a degen. I'm constantly, just trying to get right, and clearly I haven't learned my lesson. So I'm gonna go ahead and look the camera directly in the eye when I let you guys know that for the third pod, I'm gonna be looking at this Cal USC game. USC's coming off with a huge home victory. I get it. They looked great. Alex is gonna get a jersey of Juju Smith-Schuster. We all get it. It's awesome. But you know what? Cal at home. SC coming into Cal. SC 4-3. Cal's 5-2. Cal's coming off of a loss too. Trust me, at home they are going to be hungry. And you give me 6 points at home for Cal, I'll take the Cal at 6 points at home.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by this line.
Very
I know, I mean, I just thought it would be, I thought they would hang a 3, a 2.5, kind of see what the line went. This is one game that I actually looked at. I actually like the under in this game for whatever reason. 68.5 right now. But I think when you look at Cal, the offense has been fine. The defense has played extremely well. Cal's gone under the total the past 4 games. The only thing that scares me is USC's just been throwing the ball all over the place, and the offense looks really good. But the thing is, when you look at the past 2 games versus Notre Dame and then versus Utah, you wonder if there's going to be a drop-off playing on the road versus a hungry Cal team that's kind of fallen off a little bit. So yeah, I honestly wouldn't touch the game. I like the under for what it's worth, but if you like Cal, then Cal would have been my play if I was playing inside too. I just think I like the points at home with Goff. I think when you have two guys that are going off, could be I'm going to show you up, you're going to show me up, blah blah blah, that type of thing. So not a bad choice with taking. There's nothing that I like about USC this week. I think the past 2 weeks, even against Notre Dame, I think USC had a lot of value. And they did, leading by 7 in the third quarter. I thought it was a good play. But I don't think it's the right time to play USC again after a big emotional win against Utah at home and then going on the road. So, yeah, good deal, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rom. Pretty much everything Alex just said, I had that as one of my possible plays. It wasn't going to be, so I'm glad you played it. Like you said, Cal at home, getting almost a touchdown. USC just, excuse the language, blew its load against Utah on national television.
That's a frequent phrase that we've been using. Boise State blew its load.
We might have to change the name of this. We might have to change the name of the pod to blowing our load. It's just USC hasn't shown me any bit of consistency all year. Yeah. And sure, they looked great last week, but Utah played like garbage also, in my opinion. I'm not trying to discount USC's defense, but I thought Utah didn't play good at all. And they kept handing them turnovers left and right. I love the Cal play. I think Goff gets back in his groove. Like I wrote in the Cliff Notes this week, he had one of his worst games of the year and still almost threw for 400 yards or 300 yards or whatever. So take that for what it's worth. But I think it's a great play, Rome.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead, bro.
My third play of the day is another one of those that people are saying this, that, and the other. We're going to Jacksonville to the world's largest cocktail party.
Woo!
Even though we're not allowed to call it that anymore, it's still the goddamn world's largest cocktail party. And I know I've seen it all over Twitter that, this is Georgia, let's take Georgia, Georgia's in the spot, blah, 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 fuck that. We're taking the Florida Gators, we're taking the better team, get only given a field goal, -3, it might go up, so I'd actually jump on it now. I don't see it going down, but what do I know? I don't make lines. I love Florida. Their defense is amazing. I don't see Georgia. when Nick Chubb went out, Georgia struggled. They got points against Tennessee, but who doesn't get points against Tennessee? Last week, Georgia played Missouri and scored 9 points. Missouri, of all teams. I know they play defense, but
Missouri
9
played
points. Oh, no, 2 weeks ago. Georgia was on a bye last week. My bad. Their last game was against Missouri, 9-6. Just embarrassing. Hey, that Vandy game was embarrassing, too. They couldn't score against Missouri either. So maybe Missouri's got a great D. I don't know. But Florida, Treon Harris played very well against LSU. They lost by a touchdown on a field goal by the Mad Hatter. They showed resiliency with their backup quarterback. LSU jumped on them early, and Florida came out, and they scored late in the first half, came out in the second half, and just boom, boom, boom. It was a great game. I see Florida getting it done. It's going to be a tight game. It's a rivalry game. It's an SEC game. It's going to be tight. But I see Florida winning by at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. So give me Florida -3.
Yeah, I don't really get the Georgia love either right now. I really don't. I think Florida's defense is too good. I think Sony Michel is going to be a very good backup, a very good replacement for Nick Chubb. But at the same time, I just think Florida's the hotter team right now.
Yep.
I honestly don't have a play towards the side. I just didn't really understand. I thought that the gambling Twitter would be all over Florida. I was wrong. Everybody seems to like Georgia. That's kind of questionable in my opinion. I don't know if it's more of just a sharp perception, but I like Florida in that matchup. I think I like that game to go over. To be perfectly honest, I think that one's set way too low. I think looking at that game on paper, it might look like an under game, but I think Florida's going to have some success against a really questionable Georgia defense that is susceptible to giving up some plays. So if Robinson can get past the defense, and even if you look at it, if Georgia goes up, Treon Harris is going to have to throw the ball. So I like the over in that game. To be perfectly honest, it's dropping down to 46 right now, I want to say. So
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I'm all aboard. I'm on board with that too. I don't. There's nothing really that I like about Georgia that makes sense. So if I'm leaning away, then I'm going Florida too. That was initially what I liked when the game opened up. So yeah, absolutely. For my third play, I'm gonna go back to another under the radar total here. And like I said, Brian and I were talking. This isn't a card that necessarily stuck out to me. This isn't one, and I can tell right away when I'm looking at opening lines. I'm liking this one, or I'm double checking through the page up and down, trying to find something I like. And there's one total that really just sticks out to me. Once again, not a real big trend play. But I'm going to be playing the Iowa State Texas over 53.5. Now here's the thing. Looking at all the teams in the Big 12, you have your high society. You have your Oklahomas, your TCUs, your Baylors, your Texas Tech, your Oklahoma States. Teams that could just West Virginia's. Teams that just put up points up in a hurry.
What about Kansas State?
You're funny, man. That's hysterical. That's hysterical.
I'm laughing.
Well, doing these Big 12 previews, I thought that Iowa State was going to be one of those teams that was going to kind of have to revert to being just a full-out offensive team. I mean, they don't always have the best defense in the world, but at the same time, I just figured with Quentin Bundridge and Davario Montgomery at wide receiver, they had like 3 really, really good wide receivers coming in. Sam Richardson obviously knows the system at quarterback. I just thought it was going to be a team that Paul Rose was going to take, and he was just going to say, I want to try and score 50 points a game. I don't care if we give up 49, but if we can outscore the other team. And I just haven't seen that yet this year. And I think I know Texas comes along and they come off as a defensive-minded group, but it's not a defense that's been particularly good this season, especially looking at Cal, teams that throw the ball. TCU lit them up. They played very well against Oklahoma, but I think that I just think this game, even though it's at night, 2 teams that are really just trending downwards that don't have much to play for, I think you're going to see more points than you expect. That's just my take. Like, once again, the total's dropping. It's not a matchup on paper that looks like it'll go over, but I think it does. And I'm going to take the Iowa State Texas Longhorns over 53.5. So that's my third play. Take it for what you want. It could be 7-0 at halftime, and it could be, but it's just a game. And here's the thing. Iowa State's had some pretty good success in terms of total yards. They just haven't translated that into scores. And I think if Richardson can get some throws together, get in a rhythm, then you could pick apart Texas defense. I think Texas could do the same thing on the ground. I think they could gash Iowa State. I think this could be a higher scoring game than most think. So give me the Iowa State, Texas over 53.5. And we will do upset alerts if you guys have them. I know I have one.
Yeah, real quick. I saw you and Chris Kelly, or at Kelly Chris 777 or whatever. Really good follow-up part of CCH picks. You guys are talking about that game, and he's talking with Shea and Irving, and I totally agree that Texas should run the ball without an issue at all in that game.
Yep.
And they should score. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored in the 30s by themselves. So that's a very solid looking over right there.
Yeah, it is, man. It's just one of those games where I'm not going to call him the average Joe, but the regular person that's checking a game, it's not a game that you're going to say, oh, you know what, I think I really like that over. It's just two Big 12 teams that in a core with teams that could really just light it up. They're not going to be looked at like that as much, but at the same time, I really do think it's a good play. I think it's one of those games that flies under the radar, and I think I'll say 34-28 Texas. So like Iowa State. So
nice.
That's my take. That's my take, guys.
Nice.
Sweet.
Hey, Alex.
That's me.
Hey, bud. You guys remember Mark Mangino?
From
How did
Kansas?
you not
Remember that fat fuck that used to coach the Jayhawks?
Yeah.
I see him down the sideline with a cheesesteak. Cheesesteak clipboard. Cheesesteak clipboard.
Yes, Rome. Did you want to build off of that, or were you just asking a question?
Well, we're talking about upsets, and
Oh yeah, you're gonna take the Jayhawk plus 40
am I
against
taking the Jayhawks? It's 40-point dogs, or what?
plus 11. Rome goes, okay. I don't know if I like this team, but I think I love them. Give me the Jayhawks plus 40 on the money line.
Holy fuck.
Rome goes. I like when Rome starts off. He goes, I don't know if I like this pick, but I love this pick.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, who's the dog, Rome? Who's the dog?
Well, first of all, gentlemen, before we go any further, let me just thank you guys for consistently having me on every week after I've just been.
Yeah, you're the dude. I'll tell you right now, a few things that you're not going to be in life. You're not going to be a geography major because you don't know where the fuck any games are played. You are not going to work on websites because you can never get the line in on time. All I hear is this. This is all I hear from you. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to see if I can get the line because I want to be prepared. And I'm just, it really is all in good fun, man. I mean, we don't have to come here. We don't have to act professional. We don't have to be these guys on Fox Sports 1 that are talking about, oh, get this guy out in space and get him the ball and see what he can do with it. He's a playmaker. Just fucking spit college football gambling, man. That's all we're doing here. Just giving input. You're doing a damn good job at it, Rome.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah. You can add another thing to that list. I'll never be a male porn star either. Take a guess as to why.
Is that why you had the dildo?
That's why I got the fucking dildo back here. All right, just kidding. All right, so so actually I was trying to listen to the pod from last weekend because I was curious about the upset alerts that I had chose, and I had Duke actually on the upset alert, which covered. I had like three that I was kind of recommending. I think one of them didn't cover, the other two did. I can't specifically remember who it was right now, but I digress. So let's move on, guys. This is an awesome game here. We're talking Notre Dame at Temple, 5 p.m. Temple's undefeated. Notre Dame's coming in 6-1. Notre Dame is favored by 10.5. Now,
you know what? Not to interrupt you, Rome, it's been a real weird line movement week for that game. It's crossed 10 a few times. It went from 10.5 to 9.5. It's at 10. I mean, it's just kind of sitting there. So, but like I said, it probably doesn't matter to you, does it?
There really is very little that does matter to me, Alex. I'll be very honest with you.
That's the way it's got to be then. That's not a bad way to live your life.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'm looking at a couple upsets. Let's start with that. Temple's a hell of a defensive team. I think that the freshman quarterback. I'm sorry, I've been drinking. I can't remember his last name. I mean, my biggest concern is Pro Size. Pro Size is a stud. He's an All-Pro. He's going to be an All-Pro NFL running back at some point once he gets drafted. And Notre Dame has shown that even with the backup quarterback coming in, they can score points. They've got a pretty stout defense. This is definitely one where it's a little bit it's not 100%. I'd say tread lightly, if nothing else. But you know what? Temple's undefeated. They're having a hell of a year. They're a hell of a defensive team. I mean, why the hell not? 10.5. I mean, if nothing else, I definitely like them. I was kind of looking at that game too for the PODs. Temple might be able to win straight up. Oh, I remember it was SC that I had for last weekend, and I was thinking about it because I realized they weren't a dog. Like, they were favored to win, obviously, and they did. But in my mind, against an undefeated Utah, number 3 team in the nation team, that's just a ridiculous line. But of course they won. Vegas knew something. So yeah, we'll stick with Temple. I think that Stanford coming into Pullman, Washington, play a state team that can score at will. That's a game that, like Brian said, that could go right down to the end. And you know what? For that matter, too, even though I already discussed it, actually, scratch that. I think Pitt coming in, North Carolina's coming in to Pitt. Pitt played really well last weekend. It's a 3-point game. Both teams are 6-1. Why the hell not? Pitt could very easily, cover that 3, if not win straight up at home. So those are another 3 that I'll just kind of sprinkle for everybody there.
Cool. So it was Pitt, Temple, and who's the other one, Rome?
I already forgot. No, Pitt, Temple, and Dub State, the Cougars. Mike Leach. He's been leached.
Cool. I agree with one of those, and I disagree with 2. But that's the thing. It kind of sucks because once you guys give your picks, I kind of give an analysis on what I think, and it really doesn't matter, if I disagree or agree. But I'm just going to throw this out there that I think Notre Dame rolls Temple. I really do. And this is going to come down. You know what's going to come down to, Rome? It's not going to come down to the basic, who's better, who's not better, blah, blah, blah. I think Notre Dame is the better team, obviously. But it's going to come down to execution. And I've watched P.J. Walker for Temple overthrow countless receivers this season. And if he lets 1 or 2 overthrown balls be thrown in that game, and Notre Dame is just going to feast on that defense. A defense that is actually very, very good. A defensive line that I think can actually get some pressure on Deshaun Kaiser. But I think it'll be a really low-scoring game. I think it'll be... I'm going to say, this is just me throwing out a score, I'm going to say 27-13 Notre Dame. And that's just my take because I've watched Temple play a few times this season. It's a team that has a ton of talent. It's just a team that is constantly killing themselves, whether it be missed field goals, red zone turnovers, and like I said, overthrown deep balls. That just really just irks me. So I don't have any action on the game. I'll be rooting for the home dog for you, Rome. Just my take though on that one. And then Stanford Washington State game is so intriguing because you just have 2 contrasting styles. Stanford team that's really a really good defensive team, maybe not as good as prior years. And then a scorching hot Mike Leach in Washington State. That game is just going to be unbelievable. I'm not going to say that I disagree with you on that. My first initial lean Stanford. I just hope Luke Falk continues to slice and dice. So, like I said, I'll be rooting for you. I don't have any actions on those games. Be rooting for you. Love Pitt tomorrow night as well. I think everybody's on Pitt, but I really don't care. I like Pitt. Home dog, Thursday night. Let's get after it.
There you go.
Cool. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, my doggy dog of the week is going to Colorado, as we will take the Colorado State Rams plus 3.5 against the San Diego State Aztecs. I want to say Colorado State wins, but at worst, I think they lose. Colorado State's at home.
San Diego State blew their load last week.
Yes, they blew their load as they beat the crap out of Utah State, who previously blew their load against Boise State. I see a trend.
Yeah.
Can you see a trend? That trend, RJ Bell doesn't even have a blow your load trend. We got one here on Talkin' Chop. We got one.
Lawyer, oh my God. It's like a fucking collegiate orgy we got going on in the fucking Mountain West.
Yeah, God, it's a sticky mess. We got Colorado State getting 3.5 at home, coming off a bye week where they had extra time to prepare. Rocky Long's got San Diego State playing great football. Can't deny that at all. They're playing really well right now. Solid defense. If you don't feel like taking a side, I love the under in this game. It's at 50. But I really like Colorado State with extra time to prepare at home. Underdogs 5-1 the last 6 meetings between these two schools. And I like Colorado State to get the upset at home on Saturday at 12:30 Pacific time kickoff.
Very nice. Good spot there for sure, my man.
Nice.
Good spot. Yep. For me, I'm going to go with the Akron Zips +3 at home versus Central Michigan Chippewas. And I think when you look at Akron, a defensive-minded club in the MAC, you don't see that too often, has just suppressed opponents at home. Only given up 27 points one time, and that was to Marshall last season. They held Bowling Green at home to 27 points, held Miami of Ohio to 19 points, held Pittsburgh to 24 points at home this season, and they've won the possession game the last 4 meetings. So if you can keep the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands for Central Michigan, I think Akron's going to win this game. The thing that's going to be key for them is being able to keep the ball moving and keep the chains going. The thing that scares me, though, is Akron, really good run defense team, pretty subpar versus the pass. So they are coming off of a bye, but their average, they're only giving up 14.1 season and a half under Terry Bowden. So that's going to be mine. Central Michigan 7-1 last game against the spread. They have Toledo coming up next weekend, next week, I think on Tuesday in action. So I'm going to take the Zips +3. I think the line looks extremely suspicious. And beat Northern Illinois this year, nearly beat Western Michigan, held tough versus Syracuse, held tough versus Oklahoma State. I just think this one's off. And if it's not, then I'm done. I'm done writing Akron because they blew their load all over me this season. So it's disgusting to think about it.
That's a tough one there, Alex, because that's another one of those games I mentioned earlier where it's like on paper everything says play Akron, nothing's gone the way this year. Like Central Michigan, I could easily see them winning by fucking 3 scores. But I think you're on the right side. I was tempted to play the Chippewas, but now I will root for my fellow Degen, AK.
Yeah, you're too sweet, man. Yeah, it's just one of those games where I know I've got the MAC is one of those conferences where I really don't care about line movement, reverse line movement, suspicious lines, because those lines aren't really tight. You don't get a lot of public playing on them, and you really don't know what you're going to get. But at the same time, I think all the trends point to Akron here. They've just been a better team defensively, and if it's going to come down to if you can hold Central Michigan to under 24 points, then I think you're going to win the game. And the trends say so. They've been really, really good at home. Coming off a bye week, you got to figure that they've had some extra time to prepare for Cooper Rush. And like I said, they've won the time of possession game the past 4 games, and it hasn't really even been close. So I'm hoping for Akron to just kind of, dink and dunk and move the chains and just translate long drives into scores. So with that being said, let's do 1 sentence or 2 sentences or less games dissected from our boy Benny at BPG 1134. He's got a few of them. Let's talk about Syracuse at Florida State. Florida State -20.5, 51. Obviously, you have Florida State coming off just a disheartening loss. Makes Michigan look kind of okay right now. Is this going to be a hangover spot for Florida State, or do they just roll Syracuse? Rome?
First of all, I just want to do Alex, if you need a tissue so you can blow the cum out of your nose and wipe your face off, I got you right here, brother. There's been a lot of talk about blowing loads everywhere. I'm sorry. I just, that is gross. But, you mentioned.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I don't know what the number is, but I do like Florida to bounce back. I mean, Syracuse isn't a horrible team this year, but if nothing else, give me whatever the number is for Florida State in the first half. I think they'll cover, especially in the first half.
Oh, okay. Kind of an irregular bet. I like Florida State too, but Brian, your take on Florida State or Syracuse?
Yeah, I tweeted it out a few days ago when I first saw the line. I don't like playing large lines like this, but I'll just put it this way: pray for Syracuse.
Yeah, you know what? I happen to agree. I think everybody's kind of jumping on this whole, hangover spot. Yeah, well, I mean, look what happened to a few teams. Look at fucking Memphis. Memphis beats Ole Miss, and everybody thinks that Tulsa's just that's gonna, catch them off guard. Memphis ends up putting up, Memphis ends up putting up like 67 points or something on Tulsa. So this could be a game where Florida State just takes out their anger. I'm gonna look. You know what? I love the over in this game.
Yep.
Looking at Syracuse's last 5 games, total points of 43, 82, 69, 58, and 57. 47 with Wake. Give me Florida State. Florida State put up fucking 30. I like the over in this game, 54.5. So that's my take. We got FSU in the over is what we like then, guys.
Yep.
Cool. The next one, Georgia Tech, down the opposite side. I gave my take. I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be a mental lapse for Georgia Tech defensively, and I think Georgia Tech's going to put up some points anyway. So if anybody wants to chime in on that one.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I was sitting in the sportsbook as well when I saw Georgia Tech make that hell of a comeback and win that game. Huge emotional victory last weekend. I like Georgia Tech to cover, possibly roll in this game. So I'll take I think it's -3 right now, right? Or what is it?
Georgia Tech -6.
-6. Yeah, I like Georgia Tech. I'll take Georgia Tech.
Okay, cool. We talked about Florida. Brian, you and I like Florida. Rome, do you have any take on Florida and Georgia? Florida -3.5, 46.
That's a very interesting matchup, and I agree with you guys. I think that Treon Harris, has enough experience, and I think in the one game that he did play 2 weeks ago, he showed us he can manage. He can manage to not screw things up too horribly, I guess you can say. That defense is nasty. I love the coach, Jim McElwain, I believe it is.
That's right.
Yep. Did a hell of a job at Colorado State for getting hired. Come back to the SEC. I believe this game is at home, right? It's in the Swamp.
It's at Jacksonville, neutral site cocktail party.
Jacksonville. I was going to say, when you guys were talking about that earlier, I was like, the Swamp isn't in Jacksonville, is it?
Nice neutral site game.
Game.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll drink a cocktail for the Florida Gators to chomp chomp.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like we're all on the same page there. Let's talk about, this is one game that I really just don't have any take on. It's going to be Memphis, -30.5 at home versus Tulane. 31.5 and 65. Two teams that I really just hate playing.
Yep.
I'm not giving a take on Memphis or Tulane. Can't.
Here's my take on it. The spread's ridiculous. You have to put money on the game. Just take the Memphis team total over and call it a day.
Yeah.
Well, I will boldly go where no man has gone before on this one. Because clearly I'm not afraid to lose because I do a lot of it. So tread lightly. You got a Memphis team that's 7-0. They're undefeated. You got a Tulane team that can definitely put up points and score. The spread is absolutely disgusting. 31.5. I mean, Tulane can score. I mean, they're 2-5, but 65. Christ, give me the over. Give me the over 65 in this one.
Cool. All right. And then we also have Virginia Tech, Boston College. The total 36.5. I mean, fuck. No. I have no reason to take the over, so I'm going to say under on this one. 36.5 under. No take though. It's just a lean.
Yeah, I say if you're going to spend money on it, just give it to me and not even play the game.
Yep.
But if you have to, I'd play the under.
So Benny is asking specifically about the over/under on this game?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I mean 37.5. That's pretty low. I think that Michigan. The only lower total I remember seeing is that Michigan game when they played Northwestern. And that was like
Vandy and Mizzou last week was 34.5.
Oh wow. Good Lord. Yeah, I mean, let's at BC. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the under 37.5 on that, but that is definitely a just stay away from that one.
Yeah, and then actually going back to this one, Michigan, Minnesota under. He wants to also know about that one. I'm going to say wait till the second half and see if you can find the play. Because Michigan's been a great second half under team this season. Only if Michigan is up and if it's a blowout. If it's not, then I wouldn't play it. But Michigan, if they're up by, I would say, anywhere from 4 plus, I'd take the second half under because they're just going to run the clock. They don't want to do anything with the fucking ball in the second half. They want to run the clock and play defense. They're not a team that's going to blow you out in the second half, trying to blow your doors off of. So I'd actually wait for that one, but anybody else's opinion is welcome.
What's the over-under at, Alex?
38.
I'll take the over because I think Michigan's going to score some fucking points. I think they'll be able to run the ball and move the ball, but I wouldn't play it at all. But I'd go with the over just because I think Michigan can score some points, and Minnesota might surprise you, kind of like that TCU-Minnesota game. They might move the ball a little better than expected. But I think Michigan's going to run roughshod on those guys, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, this is just another just really ugly matchup, and Michigan's coming off of a bye week, where they lost, heartbreaking loss to State, 2 weeks ago. Harbaugh off a bye. I mean, good lord. I mean, I think if anything, I'd go with the over on this one too. I think Michigan will be looking to come out and just make a statement, but at the same time, it's at home in Minnesota, so Minnesota they'll probably put up at least 14, maybe 17. Michigan will probably put up at least 28 probably. So, I think that over will probably hit.
Cool. Penn State -6.5 versus Illinois. Total sitting at 43. I hate to say this, but I like the over in this game, especially if Josh Ferguson and Geronimo Allison both healthy for Illinois. Then I think the over is a good play. I think Hagenberg's a lot more comfortable playing at home than he is on the road. Obviously, the trends speak for itself. So, Illinois hasn't been the offensive juggernaut it is in recent years by any means, but I think 43 is way too low. I like the over in this game.
I have no say on this game at all. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
All
these low totals killing me.
Hey, Alex, can I take an against spread on this, or is it over under only?
Yeah. No, full game.
You can take whatever my little heart
The
desires.
entire game. Yeah. Yep.
You know what, Alex? You, sir, just talked me into this. I don't know how. I don't know why. Give me the over. Give me over 43 in this. Give me the over in this.
I like it, dude.
Yeah, no, I like it. I
like
really.
it.
Yeah, let's get that. I mean, Penn State can score a little bit at home. I mean, their defense is good. They're solid. Illinois can score too, though. I think people kind of sleep on that Illinois offense sometimes. But yeah, Alex, you obviously cover these 2 teams, I think, and probably know these 2 teams better than maybe a lot of people. This isn't a rivalry game, is it?
Nah, I wouldn't call it a rivalry game. Just a regular conference game.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's still a nice low number, 43. I'll take the over on that.
Cool. Last one, Arizona State, Oregon under. Nothing tells me to take the under. I actually like the over in this game, but
yeah, I like the over as well.
Just my 2 cents. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. I don't know if you could stomach watching.
No, I like the over as well. Kind of like I stated in my recap of why I like Oregon. I like points to be scored by Oregon. I think they get into the high 30s, low 40s. That leaves 3 touchdowns or so for Arizona State. I like the over.
I wanna roll with you guys not only because we're going to be rolling in a Rolls Royce, and I'm talking about Rolls Royce Freeman, if you know what I'm saying. But you know what? For some strange, very stupid reason, this seems like kind of like a tempo game, and I just I don't know. Cush Field, at home, 7:30 p.m. I mean, yeah, you would think Oregon, obviously, it's no-brainer. They're probably going to score a lot of points. something about this game just looks off to me, and I don't know. I don't know. Brian, I wish you the best of luck because I know that you had it for the POD, and I do like Oregon in this spot if nothing else. I just don't know if there's gonna. I just think he could be one of those like weird. I don't know. I got a weird feeling about this one. If we're looking specific at the over/under, I mean, fuck, give me the over 65.5. I think both teams will definitely be in the 20s. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be obviously blowout by any means. So yeah, so hopefully we'll have enough points to cover that over.
Sounds good, man. Well, that'll wrap it up, guys. Any closing words? Go ahead. Floor is yours.
No. Wish everybody luck this week. Should be a fun week 9. It's a weird schedule. Big Thursday night tomorrow night, like 6 games or something, and then 4 more Friday nights. So all kinds of action for all you Degens out there.
I'll just mention really quickly. Sometimes I get on my emotion. I get real emotional. I'm an emotional guy. I was given when I see these guys get injured, man, it just breaks my heart. So I just want to. I know you're not listening, Seth Russell. Obviously, you got bigger, better things to do. You're rehabbing from a broken vertebrae in your neck or whatever the deal is. My heart goes out to you, man. I wish you a speedy recovery. My heart goes out to the Baylor fans. You guys' team was, literally top 3, no doubt. Definitely, arguably top 2 in the nation. Had a bright future. I wish you guys well, and yeah, man. I'm just hoping that Seth is going to be able to come back. I don't know if he's going to come back next year. Hopefully, he'll be able to make a full recovery from that neck injury. So that's all I want to say.
Nice. Yeah, we'll see how Baylor does then, coming off of the win versus Iowa State, and looking to run the table and hopefully get into the playoffs. So, last shout out to our boy G Dave over at Sports with Gens. Wanted a Rutgers shout out, a little Jersey shout out east. So, go Rutgers this weekend versus Wisconsin, and thanks again for tuning in.
On Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah, you got one fan base versus the other fan base. So go Nova. I hope it ends in a tie. I hope they just call it a tie. 7-7.
You're soft, America.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, thanks again for tuning in, guys. We'll be back for Week 10 Talkin' Chalk next Wednesday. So thanks again. Good luck and God bless.